Hello everyone. Today's video is about the crystal field theory, that is CFT. In the previous video we have discussed about the valence bond theory and the properties of the complexes according to VBT. Now, before going to the crystal field theory, there are some limitations of VBT. To overcome these limitations, the crystal field theory was actually introduced. So let's discuss first the limitations of VBT. If you haven't watched the video about the valence bond theory, the link is given in the description. The first limitation is the VBT is unable to explain the color of the complex. As we have seen, all the coordination complex, for example, the copper sulfate is actually blue in color, whereas the ferrous sulfate is green in color. So why are these complexes are in color? It can't explain, the VBT can't explain the color of the complexes as well as the intensity of the emission spectra by these complexes. So this is the first limitation. Let's understand the second limitation through this example. In the cobalt aqueous complex, the cobalt is in +2 oxidation state. The electronic configuration of cobalt is 3d7 4s2, where in the +2 oxidation state the 2 electron is removed from the s subshell. In the 3d7 state there are 3 unpaired electrons. If we calculate the magnetic moment, it is found to be 3.87. So this is the magnetic moment of this complex according to the VBT. But the experimentally calculated magnetic moment is found to be 4.87. So the theoretical value does not matches the experimental value. This is because if we are calculating the magnetic moment here, that is here we are calculating only the spin only magnetic moment, that is magnetic field that is produced due to the spin of the electron. But the total magnetic moment is due to both the spin of the electron and also due to the orbital motion of the electron. But here in the VBT we are considering only the spin magnetic moment. We are neglecting the new orbital. That is the reason why the experimental value is differing from the theoretical value. So let us rub it. So the second limitation is VBT only considers the new spin. It doesn't consider the new orbital. So the next limitation is the VBT doesn't differentiate whether the ligand is strong ligand or weak ligand. But in the previous video we have discussed the ligands in the three format, that is the strong, weak and average. But I have considered it according to the next upcoming the theories. But the VBT will not explain whether the ligand is either it is strong or weak. Hence it is difficult whether the d orbital will pairs up or not, and if it gets paired, what is the reason behind it. So the VBT would not explain whether the ligands are strong or weak field ligands. So this is another important limitation of VBT. Let's consider the copper ammonia complex where copper is in the +2 oxidation state. We know that the electronic configuration of copper is argon 3d10 4s1. So 2 electrons are removed from one s orbital and one from d orbital. So the copper 2+ configuration is 3d9 and 4s0. So this is the electronic configuration. So one unpaired electron is present in the 3d. We need 4 hybridized orbital. According to VBT, 1s and 3p forms sp3 hybridization and gives a tetrahedral structure for this complex. But this is totally wrong, because there is a excitation of this electron to the higher p orbital, that is the pz orbital of 4p, to form dsp2 hybridization, and it forms a square planar geometry. So this is an important limitation of VBT in copper ammonia complex. So this the crystal field theory will overcome these limitations that we will discuss now. So these are some postulates of crystal field theory, that is the interaction between the ligand and metal is purely ionic in nature. That is the here the bond between the ligand and metal is ionic bond. Whereas in the VBT we will discuss about the overlapping of orbitals. Hence in the valence bond theory, the bond between the metal and ligand is covalent in nature, whereas in CFT the bond between the metal and ligand is purely ionic. The next postulate is it explains the splitting of d orbital. In the crystal field theory, we will observe the splitting of d orbitals only. It doesn't explain the anything about the p and s orbitals. It only explains the splitting of d orbitals only. Then comes the third postulate. It gives the exact value of magnetic moment. Here the magnetic moment is both due to the spin of the electron as well as the orbital motion is also considered. Hence it gives the exact value of magnetic moment. Then comes, it doesn't give any information about the hybridization. That is, CFT will not give any information about hybridization as the VBT gives the information about hybridization. Now let's discuss the crystal field splitting in octahedral complex. See, this is the metal d orbital which are in the degenerate state. That is, all the 5 orbitals are in the same energy level. When the ligand approaches in the octahedral complex, these 5 degenerate orbitals will split into two energy levels. That is the EG, that is the EG in the higher energy level, and T2G is the lower energy state. In the T2G, dxy, dyz and dzx are the 3 orbitals will having the same energy level in the T2G. In the EG, dx square minus y square and dz square are splitted up. So these 5 orbitals will split into T2G and EG. In the T2G, 3 orbitals are present. In the EG, the 2 orbitals are present. So energy gap between the EG is 6 dq. That is the energy is 6 dq higher than the normal degenerate state, and the T2G is 4 minus 4 dq. So the total splitting of the EG and T2G is 10 dq energy. Now the thing is, why these degenerate orbitals, that is the why these degenerate orbitals will split, or why not the dxy is in the higher state, or why not the dz square is in the lower state? This is because the ligand approaches the octahedral complex along the plane. So let us discuss the structure of these orbitals. That is the dxy, dxz, dyz, dx square minus y square and dz square. Here the ligand, we know that in octahedral complex the ligand is approaching along the plane. If we observe the dxy, dxz and dyz, the orbitals, these orbitals are in between the plane, whereas the dx square minus y square and dz square, the orbital is along the plane. Hence, as the ligand is approaching the metal along the plane, these two orbitals, as they are in the along the plane, there is a repulsion between the ligand orbitals and these two orbitals. Hence, due to the repulsion, the energy of these two orbitals increases. Whereas in these 3 orbitals, as the ligand is approaching along the plane and these orbitals are situated in between the plane, there is no repulsion. Hence, the energy of these orbitals decreases. Hence, these 3 orbitals will have a lower energy, and these 2 orbitals, due to repulsion, it has a higher energy. So, as the ligand approaches the metal along the plane, these 2 orbitals along the plane, hence these two orbitals will experience more repulsion, hence their energy is increased. Hence these degenerate orbitals are splitted into 2 variants, that is T2G and EG. Now the G and these symbol EG and T2G has been derived from the symmetry elements, that there are 2 orbitals, hence the term E is referred. There are 3 orbitals, hence the term T is referred. Now G means the center of symmetry. In octahedral, there is a center of symmetry is present. So the G is referred here. So this is about the crystal field splitting in octahedral complex. Now comes the crystal field splitting in tetrahedral complex. That is, the degenerate d orbitals will again split into two energy level. Here the difference is the T2 energy level is in the higher state and the E energy level is in the lower state. The E energy level is composed of dx square minus y square dz square, and the T2 energy level is composed of dxy dyz dzx. Now it is similar, that is the T2 level is of 4 dq higher than the E equals 0. Now E level is lower, that is in the 6 dq. Now the total energy level difference is 10 dq. Now the problem is, why these three orbitals are in the higher state, why these two orbitals are in the lower state. This is explained as, in the tetrahedral complex, the ligand approaches the metal across the plane, that is, the ligand approaches the metal in between the plane. If we consider the dxy, dxz and dyz, they are in between the plane. But here in the dx square minus y square and dz square, the orbitals are along the plane. But in tetrahedral, the ligand is approaching in between the plane. Hence the dxy, dxz and dyz are experiencing more repulsion. Hence their energy level is increased. Whereas the dx square minus y square and dz square, as they are along the plane, hence their energy level is decreased because they experience no repulsion. Hence in tetrahedral, as the ligand is approaching in between the plane, these three orbitals are in the higher energy level and these two orbitals are in the lower energy level. So this is about the crystal field splitting. So let's discuss the crystal field splitting energy in the next video.